So let me tell you a little bit about our distinguished speaker this evening, Dr. Calvin Mackie. Dr. Mackie is a lifelong resident of New Orleans and graduate from Morehouse College. He completed his degree in mathematics, graduating magna cum laude, and is a member of the prestigious Phi Beta Kappa National Honor Society. He was simultaneously awarded a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Georgia Tech, where he subsequently earned his master's and PhD in mechanical engineering. He joined the faculty at Tulane University, where he researched heat transfer, fluid dynamics, energy efficiency, and renewable energy. In 2002, he was promoted to associate professor with tenure. He was a visiting professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering at the University of Michigan, where he performed research on fuel processors for PEM fuel cells. Dr. Mackie has won numerous awards, including 2003 Presidential Award for Excellence in Science, Mathematics, and Engineering Mentoring, otherwise known as PASMEM, Black Engineer of the Year Award for College-Level Educator in 2002, the 2003 New Orleans Data News Weekly Trailblazer Award, and the Pi Tau Sigma ASME Excellence in Teaching Award in Mechanical Engineering for 2000 and 2002. He was awarded a patent on a device to retrofit luggage stow bins on 737 and 757 Boeing commercial airliners. Currently, Dr. Mackie is the managing partner of Channel Zero Group, LLC, an educational and motivational consulting company he co-founded in 1992. He has presented to numerous civic and educational institutions, government entities, professional associations, and businesses of every size and industrial focus. Through his travels and online mentoring presence, Mackie reaches millions of students and professionals annually. Please help me welcome Dr. Calvin Mackie.
First, I'd like to thank my creator for giving me the benefit from standing before you. Second, I'd like to say thank you to AAAS, National Science Foundation, and others for having me here. I'd like to say thank you to my homegirl, Ashley Hudson, who would not leave me alone. I believe I told her no 3 times, and I said, look, yes, 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 I'm coming. I'm humbled anytime anybody asks me to do that which I think I've been put on this earth to do, because 17, 18, 19 years ago, no one ever made a dollar bet that Calvin Mackie would be standing before anybody speaking to auspicious audiences like this. I'd like to say thank you to the mentors for being the guides and the help to these students such that they can participate in one of the greatest opportunities in the 21st century called science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I'd like to say thank you to all the rest of my friends who are here today who've been knowing me from way back. Carmen and Christine, don't tell these people. Angie, don't tell these people any stories. The people know you from way back. They look at you with one eye open. You know, Iris, like, I can't believe they got that fool up there. And I'd like to say thank you to the students for setting out on this trek, doing the things that many others won't do, taking on the challenges, working hard to achieve your dreams. I spend a lot of time saying thank you because it seemed like we've been able to raise an entire generation of young people who don't know the meaning of words like thank you, excuse me, hard work, sacrifice, persistence, and Kirsten. I don't want to be confused with them because my mother raised me differently. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. 3-day PhD in engineering, as you're going to find out. Caveat number 2 is don't confuse my passion with anger. Everywhere I go around the world. I've spoken on 3 continents and 7 countries and before 2 head of states. And the last time I was in this hotel, I said it was with general elected, and it was Jeff M. Melt, Al Sharpton, and me. Now that's gangster. You didn't know you was going to hear gangster at an event like this. And when I finished, I know Jeff M. Melt had one thing to say. He looked at me and said, "That's one angry black man right there." And I said, "I'm not angry, I'm passionate." And I wonder why more people are not passionate about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, especially when it comes to our children and their participation in it. Matter of fact, Martin Luther King said, "At the end of the day, it's not the words of my enemies I shall remember, but the silence of my friends." When we look at the conditions of our educational system, look at the numbers that we are not producing, look at the money that we put in things that have produced nothing in terms of increasing diversity in STEM, look like somebody should be mad, look like somebody should be angry, look like somebody should be taken to the street. But I'm not angry, I'm just passionate. And I'm glad to be amongst an audience of passionate people. As a matter of fact, James Baldwin said that a passion is angry. He said a passion is contemptuous of all which is not itself. He said a compassion contains hope, and it contains an unspeakable desire. And I refuse to leave you with the unspeakable hope that James Baldwin talked about. Because that's what's missing in this thing called STEM. That's what's missing in this thing called research. That's what's missing in this thing called enterprise, because we focus so much on STEM as a way of doing. How do you do research? How do you produce a paper? How do you produce an abstract? And we don't spend too much energy on STEM as a way of being. Who do I need to be to do the work that it is that they say I can do? Because we are human beings before we are human doers. And if we are human beings operate on a certain amount of energy. There are things that move human beings alone. And it's not technology. It's not research. It's something that's within us that must be activated for us to do the things that we believe that we've been put on this earth to do. And that's called hope. I got a friend called Dr. Chu. And Dr. Chu said, "Kelvin, when you lose money, you lost a little." He said, "When you lose a friend, you lost a lot." He said, "When you lose hope, you've lost it all." And when I go across this country and now across this world and look in the eyes of many of our children, look like they've lost it. But we're here tonight because we're going to bring back something called hope. See, everybody want to focus on technology and this thing called education. We want to make sure the kids got the right whiteboards. We want to make sure the kids got the right labs. We want to make sure the kids got the right computers. We want to make sure the kids got everything that's right, because we believe that everybody's hopeful. And they think we can get everybody that's hopeful to achieve without realizing that most people, even though they got the great grades and the great scores, they may be in some place called despair. And we got to get them from despair to hope, and then get them from hope to achievement. And to get from despair to hope, that's with the heart. To get from hope to achievement, that's with the head. We spend a lot of time on the head, but Iris, now we don't spend any time on the heart. So therefore, I don't speak in settings like this anymore, because they say we don't have money for settings like this anymore. We don't need this type of stuff anymore. We got to make sure they got the right books. We got to make sure they got the right labs. We got to make sure they got everything they need to do, but they don't have the things they need to be. See, when you be, you can do whatever it is they put before you. But if you ain't it, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know who you are, when the earth shakes you, you're going to collapse, regardless of all the rest of the stuff that they've put on you. And my story tonight going to prove that to you. See, hope is not something called play. Hope is the thing that caused the old lady to sit down and caused a nation to stand up. Hope is the thing that made Tuskegee Airmen believe they could fly airplanes when their own government told them they couldn't. Hope is the thing that made George Washington Carver do with a peanut 100 years ago that Harvard PhDs still cannot do today. Hope is the thing that turned Detroit red and a Malcolm X. Hope is the thing that turned crackheads into teachers and pimps into preachers. Hope is the thing that made John F. Kennedy say, "Don't ask what your nation can do for you, ask what you can do for your nation." Hope is the thing that made Patrick Henry say, "Give me liberty or give me." Hope is the thing that made our founding fathers right. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created. Hope is the thing that took a 26-year-old preacher and made him have a dream that he could change the world, but never forget that Martin Luther King wasn't killed because he had a dream. He was killed because he got up every day and tried to make his dream come true. Hope is the thing that took a 47-year-old lawyer in South Africa and sent him to jail for 27 years, and he came out a world leader. Hope is the thing that made my friend George W. Bush, in his second term running for president, title his speech, The Duty of Hope. Hope is the thing that made Ronald Reagan, we talked about the shining city on the hill, Ronald Reagan said America is the last best hope for man on earth. That's some hope for your behind. Hope is the thing that made a black boy with a white mama, with a good-herding daddy, believe he can be president. And a whole lot of people said, no, you can't. But a country called America stood up and said, yes, you can. I'm talking about hope. Hope is that little voice in your head that whispers maybe when the whole world is screaming no. And I don't know about you. See, where I'm from, I've been told no a lot of times. When I wanted to go to college, they told me no. When I wanted to go to master's, they told me no. When I wanted to go to the PhD program, they told me no. I said, when I be a professor at your school, they told me no. I walk in the mall right now and I don't have PhD on my head, they tell me no. I remember I was in high school. There's a young lady and I asked out for a date. You know what she told me? But we're here tonight, emerging fellas. We're here tonight because we are telling you, yes, there's not nothing in the world that you can't do. There's not anything in the world that these professors or these institutions, these colleges can put before you if you get some dirt beneath your feet, some wind behind your back, and put something in your head so that you can take care of yourself. See, when you stop believing, you lose. When you stop believing in yourself, you lose, independent of your race, your sex, your gender, ethnicity. If you don't believe, you can't win. Because the enterprise you're going into is a system based on you believing when nobody else believes. Matter of fact, over the 25 years I've been in this system, I believe it's created to rip that out of you if it's not soundly embedded in you. Just a part of what the system is. And you walk in, and you think it's going to be all hokey-dory, and you're going to think it's going to be everybody on your team. Then about 30 days in, you say, man, these people ain't on my team. And then you start questioning yourself. And I talked to a lot of high school students who was very bright, and then they come in my office. I'll never forget, I was the professor at Tulane. A young lady came into my office. She started crying. I said, what's wrong with you, little girl? She said, Dr. Mackie, I used to be smart, but now I'm dumb. I said, why you think you dumb? She said, look, I used to make all A's. Now I got like a 2.0. I said, look, we got to go back to that day when you got dumb, because that's a very pivotal day in your life. All your life you won. You won in elementary school. You won in junior high. You won in high school. And somehow you get here and you got dumb? Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's the system. Now, we got to make sure that you who you need to be to take on the system that it is, because I don't think you and me can change the system. Me and you got to become who we need to be such that we can go through whatever this system may put before us. We at war. There's only a finite number of seats in America, in colleges. The number of jobs in America is decreasing and shrinking. Everybody thinks it's me against you and you against him, and parents think I got to educate my kids better because y'all don't want my kids to have something. I want my kids to have what you don't have, and this and that. And everybody claiming that they want everybody to win. They don't want you to win. So you got to make sure you're in a position to deal with people when you come across those type people. See, when I take the mindset that I'm at war, I win. Because everywhere I show up prepared. But if I take the mindset that this hokey-dory and everybody on my team, I show up and you get slapped upside your head. Bam, what happened to me? And you start questioning yourself. But I'm here to say, man, you don't need to question yourself. I say there are things that you need to do every day such that when you show up, people are going to ask one question. Who's that? Where did they come from? Who trained that person? Because you know what? That person is on fire. They asked Don King, what is success? Don King said, success is setting yourself on fire, and people will show up to watch you burn. The poet Keith said, education is not the filling of a bucket, it's the lighting of the fire. When you get educated, you're supposed to be on fire. And I tell teachers and mentors right now, they say, what's wrong with these kids? What's wrong with these students? They don't have the same passion that we had. I said, maybe they're not on fire because you're not on fire. Maybe they don't see the fire in your eyes. Maybe they don't see you waking up every day and going after this and chasing this down like it's the best thing in the world. Maybe they're becoming who you are. challenge. See, I used to be a professor. See, my mind kind of walks. My mind kind of walked. Because Christine, they taught us years ago, get tenure, go get your PhD, and you'll have a job for life. You have a job for life. See, I used to be a professor at Tulane University. But in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, Tulane University did an unbelievable thing. See, I'm a Hurricane Katrina evacuee, Hurricane Katrina refugee, and Hurricane Katrina survivor. And as young Jesus would say, a soul survivor. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, my family lost 26 houses. 11 years ago this March, I lost my daddy, and 6 days before that, I lost my stepmother. We had 2 funerals in 3 days, real life, because they couldn't get the treatment that they deserved in the aftermath of the greatest engineering disaster in the history of a free country called America. Oh, this is real. It's funny to watch TV and you see disasters and then find yourself in one and look at the TV and go, look at me. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, Tulane University, a Research One university in America, did something that was unbelievable. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the president of Tulane University decided to keep the football team and eliminate the engineering program. Google it. And as the first and only African American ever tenured in the history of the College of Engineering, I was shown the door. That means I lost my job. And my buddy, who was the football coach, he called. He said, Mackie, I can't believe I'm still here as the football coach and you're gone as a tenured faculty member. I said, oh man, don't worry about that. I said, the young men in the hood got it right. He said, what you mean? I said, maybe when I was studying calculus, I should have been doing wind sprints. And a message that the president of Tulane University sent to the children of New Orleans and the children of America is the message that major universities are sending to our children on a daily basis. And that message is you can come to this university and run that rock, dunk that peel, hit that rock, stop and shake it like it's hot and entertain us. But don't think about coming to our university and study science, technology, engineering, and mathematics and putting yourself in a position where you can save yourself and your community. I said it, I meant it, and I'm here to represent it. You have a better chance, young man, of playing football and getting their mission than going to one of these universities and saying, I want to be a PhD in engineering. Big university will go to West Virginia and find a guy under a rock that's strong as a bull and fast as a rabbit. He barely can read and write. You know what they tell him? We can work with you. Come on. And you know what they do? They create learning centers and learning environments. They put him in a learning environment. They give him all the tutoring that he needs. They even give him a special diet to make sure that he stays strong. But a young woman or a young man from the same community, the same school, actually, when they say, I want to come to your university, they say, oh, what's your test score? Oh, you go to a failing school. Oh, we can't have you. They value their talent. They value their labor better than they value what you have to offer from your mind. That's what you're up against. You ain't like that, huh? And when you know that, you can't go in there like this some play, hokey-dory, freak show. You got to go and understand that you're dealing with institutions that value things but not you. So people say, Calvin, you was at Tulane and you lost your job. But yeah, I had 8 people living in my house at the time. And I left my house and I went home. And I got to my house and the man was up in the tree. I said, man, you might want to get down out that tree. I knocked on the door, knock, my son. I opened the door and my sons ran to me and they said, Daddy, I kissed them. Love you, sons. I went in the kitchen. My beautiful wife, Tracy, was cooking for everybody. And she had the gumbo on. She had the etouffee on. She was frying catfish. And she was making her famous potato salad. I don't know how y'all make potato salad where you all are. I saw some potato salad here all chunky. That's not real potato salad. My wife Tracy makes some potato salad, and it's so smooth, sometimes I just rub it on my face. And I kissed her and I said, I love you. And she had the air conditioner on, she had the vent on, they had the window open. I just saw money going out the window. My little nephew had moved in with me about y'all age, senior in high school. He had lost his house, he moved in with me. He in the corner with the headphones plugged in, the computer plugged in, the TV on, the radio on. I say, man, can you just turn something on? My old uncle had moved in with me. He had lost 2 houses, retired. Now he living with his nephew. All day he watching the TV. He watching the same news every 30 minutes like this. Like, oh, can you just go for a walk? My big brother had moved in with me. He upstairs, 4 years my senior. He done lost his house and his job. He upstairs by himself with the lights on, the TV on, the air conditioning. I'm like, man, can you just come downstairs? Everybody get in one room. My daddy moved in with me. My daddy dropped out of school in 8th grade to pick cotton. In 1965, he started a roofing company. Didn't have education, but he got some skills. He started a roofing company and eventually started his own roofing company. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, he lost his house, he lost his business, and eventually he lost his life. The week before Hurricane Katrina, he had been diagnosed with level 2 lung cancer. The Monday after Hurricane Katrina, we were supposed to take him in. His treatment was supposed to start, but we evacuated. It took us 6 weeks to get him back in the system. By the time we got him back in the system, they couldn't re-diagnose him because in a place called America, they had a little medical center set up in tents in a parking lot of a mall because, you know, they didn't bring him what they need to properly evaluate people. So it took us 2 more weeks to get him properly evaluated. By the time we got him properly evaluated, the cancer had spread all over his body. He had moved in with me. And I thank God that I had done something with my life such that when this man needed me, I was able to be there for him. He was in the corner, waving, with his oxygen machine on, plugged in, waving. And I stood there. And I said, all these people depending upon me, and I done lost my job. But thought about the 2 lessons that my mom and daddy taught me. See, I was the right person. My mama taught me, said, baby, put something in your head and nobody can take that from you. And my daddy taught me that a man or a woman is supposed to get up every day and go out and hunt and kill, they shall not eat. Since I had 4 STEM degrees at that time, I went and put on my suit and I went out and I started an alternative energy company where we take waste streams and convert it to biofuels so that I could take care of me and mine. That's called an American dream, such that you get an education, such that not that you wait for somebody to educate you, but you get an education so that you can go out into this free place called America and create a place for yourself. And you should never stop thinking like that in this free agent society that we're living in now. Just think if I wasn't the right being, if I just thought this was all about doing, and I had not taken care of my being, where I would be today. And it's funny, I thought Tulane was going to take me around the world. After I left Tulane, I went to the 3 continents and the 7 countries, speaking to over 100,000 people a year. And I'm a spiritual person. I'll never forget, I called my pastor, and I said, I lost my job. And he would laugh. I said, why are you laughing? He said, the only thing God has done for you was that what you didn't have the courage to do for yourself. You was over there at Tulane trying to put pegs in square holes. Now you're free to create, to live, to do the research that you're supposed to be doing. And at Tulane, I had got patents. I had written 30 papers. I had gotten tenure. I had done everything that they asked me to do, and I still was not happy. So I started a program called STEMNOLA. STEMNOLA is a community-based program to engage communities in hands-on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In 3.5 years, we've engaged over 8,000 kids from 400 schools in hands-on activities. All of our activities are in communities. National Science Foundation has a call out for a proposal now called Includes. People calling me from around the country say, Kelvin, you're doing that already. You've created an entire ecosystem where you've engaged an entire city and you're engaging the kids that we trying to engage, underserved kids. If you go to school for free or reduced lunch, you get in for free. If not, you pay. 87% of the people that we've engaged are free and reduced lunch kids who otherwise would never have access to things called science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's how we increase this thing called diversity, going where nobody else is willing to go. It's like the sports program. If football players and football teams and football coaches gonna go where nobody else is gonna go, we gotta go there and find the best talent in every community and mine them out and bring them to places like this. That's why we need you in this, because we need you, after you finish doing what you're doing, to go back and mine your community and make sure that 100 people like you got the same opportunity to do what you're doing here tonight. I'm about moving the needle and changing the world. If you just stuck on yourself, then you're in the wrong place. There's two types of wealth in this world. First type of wealth is making money, and that's why we all confused. Everybody want to make money. I'm going to make money. That's the lowest form. Second form is wealth called making a difference. And that's the highest form. And I can prove it to you. There's billionaires that died and we don't know their names. But poor people who've made a difference, we build statues to them. I hope that you're doing what you're doing. I hope that you're in this enterprise to make a difference, to change a life, to see a life going one way and tapping it and take a trajectory where it's never been before. Because that's what Dr. Carolyn Myers did for me at Georgia Tech when I was walking down the hall with my hat on backwards and she slapped it off my head. That's how I got in grad school. That's what Dr. Prateen Desai did for me. See, we are separate as the fingers, but as whole as the hand. It's going to take all of us working together to change this thing. When I lost my job at Tulane, it was people of all races, ethnicities that called from around the country and said, Kelvin, you all right. I can name about 6 people who said, Kelvin, your family going to eat because the work that you were doing is very important and you don't need an institution, and we're going to continue to make sure that you're on the road speaking hope and life in the people such that they get hope in life, but your family can be okay. That's what this thing is about. And see, when I say those things, people say, well, yeah, that's easy. That's easy. But when you know my story, you're going to understand why this thing called mentoring is so important. I am because other people were. It was other people who poured into me that made me who I am. Somehow I always had the aptitude for the science and technology, but if I didn't have those people, I promise you I wouldn't be here tonight. As a matter of fact, in many minority communities, we don't buy into technologies, we buy into people. That's why so many people want to be entertainers and sports figures and all that, because they buy into people. But if we can tell the right people to them, then we can get more return on the buck. Coming up in the city of New Orleans, I thought I was going to go to the NBA. I had a wicked crossover and an unbelievable jump shot. Now, you think that's funny. You want some of this? Don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me. You want some? And one night I took a long jump shot. One of the few jump shots I missed, ricocheted off the rim. Now, I went to get the ball, and the young man beat me to the ball. And he grabbed my ball in my arm. They went that way, I went this way, and I suffered a traumatic shoulder separation. My coach picked me up, and he said, oh, no, Calvin, your dreams are destroyed, and he took me to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, the doctor came in, and the doctor looked, and the doctor said, oh, no, and he ran back out. Doctor came back in with 3 more doctors. All 4 of the doctors got around me, and they took a sheet, and they tied me up, and they did a tug-of-war showing and popped my shoulder back in. They said, young man, what are you going to do now? I said, man, I don't know. They said, you got to do something. I said, you know what? I'm going to continue to play some basketball. And you see, right then and there, when you don't listen, there got to be consequences and repercussions. Right then and there, the doctors told me to have surgery, but I wouldn't listen. Mentoring is about listening to the people who've gone before you, because they've seen it already. And you don't have to make the same mistake that they made. The only thing you need to do is listen. But I wouldn't listen. So 20 years later, 30 more shoulder separations, I'm speaking at the University of Michigan, big audience like this. I do something crazy on the stage and my shoulder pop out. Bam. Young lady in the front row go, ah! This is the truth. Y'all know MVP Derek Scott from Michigan. He ran on the stage. And he said, what to do? What to do? I said, hold me, hold me. And 2 grown men on the stage like this. The only thing I could think was, thank God this is a blue state. He said, what to do? What to do? I said, man, twist my arm. He twisted my arm and he popped it back in. Bam. And he grabbed the mic. He said, look, we gotta stop. Kelvin has injured himself speaking. And with my good arm, I grabbed the mic. And I said, no. I said, this is what my daddy taught me. This is what I teach my sons. And this is what we're trying to teach you at this emerging researcher forum. My daddy taught me that Mackie men are smart. We finish what we start. And we're here today to tell you that you are smart and you got to finish what you started. And with that bad arm, I grabbed that bad arm with my good one. And to tell the truth, I had to finish because they had like 2,000 people and they had like 500 books I had to sell. I was seeing money. And I finished that speech with my bad on. And the rest of the night, I signed books, Christine, like this. I signed all of them. And the more pain I got in, the more books they bought. I was like, ah! I sold all those books. So then they rushed me to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, the doctor gave me an MRI. After he gave me an MRI, they rushed me to surgery. I went to surgery for like 4 hours. After 4 hours of surgery, I had to go through 18 months of rehab. After 18 months of rehab, this is only as high as I can lift my shoulder now. Now, I told you that when you don't listen, there got to be consequences and repercussions. And you say, Calvin, you didn't listen. What was the consequence of repercussions? I got 2 beautiful sons, Miles and Mason. Miles and Mason are beautiful. And when I go to their flag football games, don't let them play real football. When I go to their flag football team, they score a touchdown. I'm at the game like this, touchdown. And my son's embarrassed, everybody laughing. They're like, who dad is that? My son's like, that ain't my dad. Because I wouldn't listen. Young people, listen. Go to the workshops. Absorb all this information. Everything that people giving to you will be something that you can use. Deposit it. Write it down. I used to walk around with a notebook. I still keep to this day. I used to come to conferences like this and I take notes. Still to this day, I walk around with those notes from 1985 and 1986. Unbelievable. And I still do it now, but now I do it on my phone in the notes section. But I take the notes. Anybody speaking, I'm writing. Because I'm going to go check them for one, but two, if they said something that resonated with me, you know what, I might be able to use it another time. But at the bottom line, I'm going to hold on to it. Write it down. But I'll never forget that the night I separated my shoulder, they brought me home. And then my coach knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. My mom answered the door. My mom went to a state-approved Negro college. My mom and dad both died functionally illiterate. I grew up in a house with no books. When my mom answered the coach said, Miss Mackie, I'm sorry to tell you your son has separated his shoulder. He'll never be able to play basketball again. My mom looked at me and she only had one thing to say. She said, what are you going to do now? We told you to study. We told you to study. I said, Mama, what about my shoulder? She said, boy, shut up and get in this house. That's a real mama right there. If we had more mamas like that. I came in the house and I laid down. I looked up and said, God, what am I doing? God said, boy, don't worry about your shoulder. You're going to do more for this world with your head than you ever thought you'd do with your legs and your arms. And I got up the next day and I went to school to find my favorite teacher, Miss V. And I went to Miss V class and said, Miss V, you heard about my... She said, shut up, Kelvin. We heard about your shoulder. She said, but what are you going to do now? I said, I don't know. She said, Kelvin, tell me something. I said, I don't know. She said, Kelvin, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. She said, Kelvin, in the 21st century, there only be 2 types of people. It won't be white or black. It won't be Asian or Hispanic. There only be 2 types of people, Kelvin. Those in the know and those not in the know. Kelvin, we want you to be in the know. Scholars, we're here tonight because we want you to be in the know. She said, Kelvin, tell me something. I said, all right, Miss V, I'm going to be an engineer. She said, who? You? See, life and death lives in the tongue. And sometimes when we do these research programs, the mentors don't realize that their language is supposed to uplift rather than destroy. Watch people and what they say to you. You can be wrong and not be bad. You can be wrong and not be dumb. If people make you feeling like you're stupid, that is a problem. So you got to have the right assets around you. And when I talked about wealth, that's wealth and money, but the right assets are the right people too. When we was in grad school, Carmen and Christine and us, all of us are still friends now because we had the right assets around us such that when somebody spoke death into us, Irish, we could call the other one and we'll pick them up and say, you know what, regardless of what they say, you're going to be all right. She said, you, Kelvin? I said, yeah. She said, Kelvin, you know what an engineer does? I said, no, but it sounds real good. She said, Kelvin, you know, if you're going to be an engineer, you got to go to college. I said, bet. She said, nobody in your family ever been to college before. I said, so I'm going. She said, Kelvin, look, if you're going to go to college, you have to go take this test. I said, what test? She said, the SAT. Now, people, I was ignorant. AAAS, I was ignorant. And I was ignorant because I grew up in a house with no books. And don't get bent out of shape because people call you ignorant. Ignorant means you just don't know. Stupid means there's no hope for you. Flavor Flav, stupid. I was ignorant. I was so ignorant when they told me to go take the SAT. I thought SAT meant Saturday. And then I knew it meant Saturday because then they told me the test was on Saturday. Genius. When I showed up to take the SAT, all the kids like you, all the students like you had done what you're supposed to do, had been in training programs that you was in high school. You was biting your nails, you was nervous because you know this is a very important day. Nobody could tell me nothing. I put my head down there to wake me up. Wake me up, I said, young man, take your test. When they gave me that test, I looked at it, and I didn't know that word, it's a that word, it's a that word, it's a that word. So you know we do and we don't know what we're supposed to know. I started going A, B, C, D, D, C, B, A, B, C, D. Woo! I better change this thing up, C, B, C, B, A. Yeah, I know, that's how a lot of y'all got to college. I can see it all in your eyes. I looked around, I was the first one finished. I was like a bunch of dummies that put my head back down. They woke me up and said, young man, go home. And we didn't get our scores immediately. We didn't have Facebook, MySpace, YouTube's website. We didn't have the technology. We had to wait 6 weeks on our scores. So 6 weeks later, I went to the mailbox and I looked, saw those scores. Reached in, I pulled them out, I ripped it open, I looked at them, I said, oh yeah. Now I went to school to find Miss V. When I got to school, Miss V said, Kelvin, you got him? I said, I got him, Miss V. Miss V said, Kelvin, how did you do? Ignorantly and confident, I looked at Miss V. I said, Miss V, I got 84%. She said, Kelvin, 84% on the SAT? That's unbelievable, Kelvin, especially for you. She said, but Kelvin, I never heard the test explained in percentages before. She said, Kelvin, what's your raw score? What's your total score? Ignorantly and confident, I looked at it and I screamed, 840. And she was shaking her head. She said, no, Kelvin, the test is not out of 1,000. It's out of 1,600. You don't have 84%. You barely have 50%. You need to go take that test again. So no, not that Saturday test. I stick with my Friday test. I do much better on Friday. I told you, I was ignorant, but you know what? Ms. V realized that man could not create a test to measure what's inside of me if I'm willing to work towards it. And we're here tonight to tell you whatever troubles you're going through, whatever challenges you're going through, whatever you decide to pursue in college, man cannot determine the outcome if you're willing to work towards it. She said, Kelvin, you still want to be an engineer? I said, bet. She has a college recruitment fair at the New Orleans Superdome next Saturday. Next Saturday, I went down to that Superdome and I kicked the door open. And when I walked in, the first table I saw, brother, was a Georgia Tech engineer. It's like divine intervention. I want to be an engineer. First table I see is Georgia Tech. I walk over to the Georgia Tech table. Georgia Tech guy said, what can I do for you? He said, I'd like to be an engineer, sir. He said, what's your SAT score? Ignorantly and confident, I looked at him and I screamed, 840. He was shaking his head. He wouldn't even give me an application. He had a conniption. Boy, I never even heard of nothing like that. See, just because the school ranked #1, that doesn't mean it's #1 for you. You have to go to and find a place where somebody's going to take you as you are, nurture you as you are, and help to get to where they know you can be. He said, go over there. They may be able to help you. Now I went over to this raggedy little table. This guy at the table didn't even have a skirt on the table. The guy said, what can I do for you? I said, man, I don't know, that dude over there told me to come over here. He said, son, what can I do for you? I said, man, I'd like to be an engineer. He said, you came to the right place. He said, what's your SAT score? I said, man, I can play some ball. He said, no, I need those scores. I said, man, I can dance. He said, no, I need them scores. This time I whispered. I said, 840. He was shaking his head. He said, I tell you what, son, you're a diamond in a rough, but a diamond show nothing. Sign right here and come to Morehouse. We'll make you into a doctor. We'll make you into a lawyer. We'll make you into an engineer. Young people, many of these scholars you sitting around here, many of the people that are going to be talking to you, if you knew their story, if you knew from where they started from, if you knew the challenge they had and the PhDs they have now and the job they have now, you would know anything is possible. I know a lot of them. It's possible. It's possible. Just keep working. He said, come to Morehouse. In June 1985, my mom took her to Morehouse. She had never been on the college campus before. When I got to Morehouse, everybody laughed at the way I talked. They laughed at the way I talked. Kirsten, they laughed at the way I talked because I was saying things like, I'm about it, how you do that there. And I'm the man right here. You heard me, little Wody. It's off the easy for sheezy up in here, cousin. see, I'm bilingual. I'm bilingual. You don't have to come via Ellis Island or the Rio Grande, a piece of cardboard and land in Florida, and be a person in need of English as a second language. Nobody was conjugating a verb to be in my house. It was I be, we be, you be, all us be up in here. They said, boy, C-spot run. I was like, no. They said, right. They said, don't pass go. They said, go directly to remedial reading. You're reading on about an 8th grade level. Can you imagine the pain and indignation I felt every day when my friends like you was going to World Lit and English Comp? I had to go down to a basement of a building with 8th graders where they called me and my buddy LD for Louisiana dummies. And luckily, Morehouse believed in this being thing, and every day on my way to remedial reading and developmental mathematics, I read a quote from President Emeritus Benjamin Elijah Mays that said, when you find out that you're behind in a race of life, you got 2 choices, run faster or quit. The problem in America right now is that too many people are quitting. And I got up every day and I ran and I ran and I ran. Morehouse put me in a basement of a building with those 8th graders, and they put me in front of a machine, and every day they would let the words go by faster and faster, and every day I read and I read and I ran and I ran, and after 3.5 years, after being told I wasn't college material, I finished Morehouse, #1 in mathematics, #5 in the largest class that Morehouse had ever produced, magna cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa. And when I came off the stage, thank you. And when I came off the stage, they put a microphone in front of my face. And they said, Calvin, when your mother went to a state-approved Negro high school, when your father dropped out of school in the 8th grade to pick cotton, when the test said you wasn't college material, who'd ever thought you'd come to Morehouse and do this? What are you going to do now? I said, you know what? They said, what? I said, man, you know what? He said, what? I said, man, I'm going to go to Georgia Tech. It's only 1.5 miles away and a $1.50 bus ride. Students don't allow anybody to stand between you and your dreams. Not your mama, your daddy, your socioeconomic background, your race, your gender, your crazy cousin, your mean advisor. Allow nobody to stand between you and your dreams. 2 weeks later, I started Georgia Tech, the school they say I never was supposed to go. 18 months later, I finished my second undergraduate degree, a BS in mechanical engineering. 2 years after that, I got a master's in mechanical engineering. And 4 years after that, in 1996, I became one of 11 African Americans in the country that year to receive a PhD in mechanical engineering. Now, AAAS, I didn't come here to brag. I came here to tell you that story to let you know that each and every one of us, even you, have been impregnated with something so great, such that if we give birth to it, it'll make Bill Gates look like a midget in the annals of history. But yet still, 20 of us are already committed to having abortions on our dreams. What's your dream? What keeps you up at night? What is it you want to do in the world? What is it you want to change? What problem is it that you want to address? Not what your advisor wants you to address, not what your people want you to address. What's in your gut? I got a son. My son is 12. And I love my son. I went in his room one night, and he had a picture of him. It's a little baby picture of him. And he got an arrow pointing to the pictures. And then he got a list of 10 things. And the title reads, The 10 Things I Want to Invent. He's dreaming already. And I'm going to make sure that no one takes his dream. We need you all to dream. And we need you all to be careful, because this thing called mentoring is serious. There are 3 types of people in the world. Dream fakers, dream takers, and dream makers. You're here tonight with a lot of dream makers. I'm here tonight because I bumped into a lot of dream makers, and they said, Calvin, what is it you want to do? And we're going to help make your dream come true. We need more of this, where you can come and talk to people and find out who did they become to get through this system, because the system is hard. And in closing, I want you to know something. I travel a lot. And me and my wife was talking. I don't know if y'all remember. Y'all remember the plane running into the mountain. They're still looking for a plane off the coast of India or something. I mean, planes that a couple of years ago, they just missing planes. My wife said, look, you do about 200,000 miles on Delta. Yeah, I got these boys. You need to settle down. I'm like, don't you want to eat? She said, look, you need to find something else because you ain't going to be doing all the flying. I said, I'm going to be flying. I've been married like 20 years, y'all. So we just the way we talk. I'm going to be flying. I don't care what you say. She said, you need to stop flying. I'm flying, woman. So I'm trying to get off the road. You know how that go. I'm just telling y'all what I thought I would have said if I could have said what I wanted to say. And she said, look. I said, all right, then. I said, two things. She said, what? I said, if the plane go down with me on it, I want you to tell CNN I was fighting. Because you know me, I was probably fighting before the thing started going down. But let them know I was fighting. I said, number two, she said, what? If the plane go down, I know what I want on my tombstone. She said, Kelvin, shut up. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, Kelvin. I said, you don't want to talk about planes coming down. She said, I don't want to hear that. I said, look, if the plane come down, I know the word I want on my tombstone. Promise me you're going to say. She said, I don't want to hear it. I said, look, if the plane go down, you're going to be all right. She said, Kelvin, don't talk like that. I said, if the plane go down, you're going to be all right. She said, I don't want to talk about that, Kelvin. She said, but how all right am I going to be? I said, double indemnity, all right. I said, if the plane go down, I know the word I want on my tombstone. She said, what? I said, I'm going to put it in the will, and you better put it on there. I said, I don't want nothing but my name, the day I was born, the day I died, and this one word. And she said, what? I said, empty. She said, why you want empty on your tombstone? I said, because I want the world to know I gave it my all. That's all we're asking of you. Give it your all. Give it your all. And I promise you, you're going to have great outcomes. Thank you all for listening. And the best to every last one of you. Thank you.